The following is a presentation of the BellyUpSports Media Network.
The ball sends it over to Edward Robles. Go! InsertName FC! Let's go, InsertName FC! What is up, everybody? My name is Hector Flores, host of InsertName FC, a member of the BellyUpSports Media Network. No Edward this week because if you guys want to reference, Monday was the first day of school for Edward's sons, and so he was pretty busy with that. Because he had that, he also was late to work. So he basically couldn't work. He wouldn't be able to. If we were to have had Edward on, he would have probably been sleepier than usual, and so obviously it'd be for the best for him to just not be in the episode. And because it was so short notice, it was gonna be a little harder to find someone to fill in. So I just said, F it, I'll just do this episode by myself. So that's what's gonna happen. Usually when it's just me, these episodes do end up being a lot shorter than normal. So I do try my best to talk as much as I can, but obviously you can only do so much when it's just, a one-sided conversation. So in this episode, we're going to have overreactions. I'll still do my overreaction for the past week. Do transfer talk. We got some headlines to talk about. One really big headline that's going to probably be majority of this episode. There is a debate topic. I will share that as well. Announce our players of the week, and give you guys some games to look forward to this coming weekend. There is some pretty interesting matchups happening this weekend, so make sure you guys. We'll let you guys know what's going on. And normally I don't like doing this by myself, but because this is, the opening month for the soccer season, I'm going to go ahead and still continue on doing the 3 up, 3 down. Spencer and Edward did not send me their 3 up, 3 down, so it'll be just me, and the 3 up, 3 down will be, of course, on this season's La Liga jersey. So, which it kind of sucks because obviously this is the league that me, Edward, and Spencer are more invested in because our favorite clubs play in La Liga. If you guys didn't know, Spencer's an Atletico Madrid fan. Edward's a Barcelona fan. If you guys didn't notice that yet, and of course I'm a Real Madrid fan. So it kind of sucks that we're not gonna cover English Premier League together. But nonetheless, it's still, I promised you guys we were gonna do it, so we're gonna go ahead and do it anyways. So it'll just be me. So probably be a pretty quick episode. I did say last week that there's a probability that there won't be an episode next week. There most likely will be an episode next week. I'm not going to El Salvador till the following Saturday, so I will be able to record one more episode before I depart for El Salvador, just for family stuff. Nothing bad, just a birthday. But also, I kind of want to just take a break. Still unemployed, but I don't know, man. Just I feel like, especially I had an opportunity to go to El Salvador, and if I got a job right away, then obviously I wasn't going to be able to request time off to go there, because most jobs, they don't let you use PTO till 6 months, as early as I've heard, 6 months. So I thought it'd be best if I just try to, take advantage of the time that I do have right now, and go see my family, and Just take a while to relax for a little bit before I go back to working. But yeah, I felt like it was much needed. Hopefully some opportunities pop up while I'm gone. But like I said, man, I felt like I really needed it, so that's the reason why. But there will be a new episode next week. I'll remind you that as well. But that's really all I gotta say for this first part of the episode. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break, and then we'll get going with overreactions.
Spring has sprung, and our friends at Manscaped have the best tools for some spring cleaning. They've already helped you tidy up all the nooks and crannies of your body's basement, but this year, Manscaped can help you get the perfect presentation on that beautiful face with the new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Make sure you look your best this spring by using code BellyUp20 to get 20% off and free shipping at Manscaped.com. It's time to tame your mane with the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. The sun is peeking back out, which means you'll have to show your face in the daylight again. So use the kit to make sure your scruff looks award-winning, whether you got glorious beard flow or some smooth, sleek cheeks. The kit starts off with the Beard Hedger, a waterproof cordless trimmer with a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. So no more messy drawers full of add-ons. It also comes with the titanium-coated T-blades that are tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to a single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. The Beard Hedger is a high-tech piece of art in a travel-size package with a long-lasting battery, universal charging, and a strong motor. So what are you waiting for? Save 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code BellyUp20 at Manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the promo code BellyUp20 at Manscaped.com. Focus on the face and use the Beard Hedger Pro Kit for the cleanest look in the game.
And we're back. Okay, so overreactions from the week before. And I'm going to tell you this right now. My overreaction from this past week is Xavi Simons is really good. I mean, that's probably not a big overreaction, but like, I mean, watching him in that RB Leipzig game, literally somehow the ball was just, attracted to him because the ball kept coming back to Xavi. But that was just a really impressive goal, just an impressive run. The kid I think has the potential to be very special. And so I still can't believe PSG didn't just let him stay with them for this season, because I think that this kid is ready to play with them. But hey, their losses, RB Leipzig's gain. Hopefully, I mean, they just finally won a game. So, I mean, can't really say much. But my overreaction right now is that Xavi Simons is definitely a player that's truly special to watch. So that's my overreaction for this one. Transfer talks. All right. Jordi Petrovic of the New England Revolution, goalkeeper. He is going to join Chelsea. So another New England Revolution goalkeeper going to the English Premier League. Weirdly enough, also going to London. I mean, obviously now Matt Turner is over at Nottingham Forest, but Jordi Petrovic, man, has been really solid, really good. A lot of people were concerned about what was going to happen after Matt Turner left, and I think they found another gem in Jordi. I think he's going straight to Chelsea. I don't think I don't think he's going to take a loan, because it seems like, well, obviously because it's the season, the Premier League season started. So I'm assuming that Jordi Petrovic will be with Chelsea. But hey, another, and and it's funny because the club, I don't know why I'm struggling with words right now. The club in the MLS that has actually fed the most players to Europe actually has been New England, and it's crazy to hear that, because obviously, especially with like recent, probably not Atlanta United, but like FC Dallas is probably a team that I think of a lot when it comes to a lot of players going to Europe. Weston McKennie, Brian Reynolds, Pepe. I believe Jesus Ferreira. There's like rumors of him possibly going to Cadiz. Things like that. Like I always thought of FC Dallas, but I think also it's fair to say New England Revolution has been, well, I guess New England and FC Dallas are both like original clubs in the MLS. So but New England, I guess, just has been really fortunate with getting more transfers done, or just people haven't been paying attention to New England as of lately. But there's that. Lewis Hall joins Newcastle on loan, so good move for Lewis Hall. I'll say Bayendir is joining Manchester United. So obviously Manchester United isn't necessarily in need of a starting goalkeeper, but they do need a backup. I know I'll take Bayendir. I've heard some like mixed feelings. I know a lot of people are actually relieved that he's gone. I believe his big issue is his injuries. Which I mean, if you're gonna be a backup, it's not a bad situation to be in. So I mean, he might have to play a few matches here and there, maybe an EFL Cup, maybe maybe like early rounds of the FA Cup. So I mean, like uh, any real big pressure is going to be more on Onana, but like I think he's definitely in a more favorable situation. So, um, is he a top-notch goalkeeper? I can't tell you. I really don't watch the Turkish league like that. The only times I would watch it is when the big rivalries are like Galatasaray versus Fenerbahce or uh Beşiktaş. Like the big club, the main clubs in Turkey is when I watch them. But and I can't. The only goalkeeper I can really tell you confidently that I know about the Turkish league is Fernando Muslera, which is because I'm just very biased towards him. I think he's a top goalkeeper. But but yeah, so I'll tell you Bandayir. He is with Manchester United. I honestly think probably a good situation for him. I mean, he just has to make sure that 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 Onana warms up properly, and then sits on the bench and just rides it out. So really not a bad situation. I would have to say. Melvin Ukpegby is joining Bayer Leverkusen on loan. Bayer Leverkusen is pretty good at finding these like hidden gems. I really don't know much about Melvin, but I'm sure Bayer Leverkusen is going to definitely be able to utilize him. A player that me and Edward were talking about last week, which is Laporte. Manchester City has actually been prepared to move on from Laporte for quite this summer, and it seems like he's going to go ahead and join Al Nassr. So he's going to be joining forces with Cristiano Ronaldo over there in Saudi Arabia. For me, Laporte, this is kind of like a good situation for him. He's kind of on the bottom of the totem pole in as far as like center backs in Manchester City. He goes to Al Nassr where he's probably going to play, and he's probably got a good paycheck coming his way. So I honestly think that this is a good move. I'm really, a lot of people think I don't like the Saudi league. I mean, it's a hit or miss for me. But I think them going after these older players is like not the end of the world for me, because it's like, one, it gives them an opportunity to get another bag. I think I'm more irritated of it when a younger player, and I mean, there's precedents. Like there's precedents because I didn't like it when Oscar went to the Chinese Super League, because I mean, I thought Oscar, a young Brazilian player, had so much potential to be one of the best in Brazil, especially in the midfield. He leaves Chelsea to go play in the Chinese Super League, and ever since then we haven't really heard from him. And so like, I don't like it when someone that has such like a big career ahead of them goes to, instead of continuing trying to test Europe, goes to those leagues, because and I mean, I get it. If the money's good, if that's the reason, like if you're just trying to take care of your family, I get it. But it's just like, bro, you could probably make so much more money if you just, tough it out. And so like for players like Laporte, they've done it. Like they've done that part. Like they've invested in themselves. They competed in Europe. They've done it in the highest of levels. So they really have nothing much else left to prove. And so, so that's like my thing. That's the only if you guys want to understand my thought process, it's kind of the same thing. Like I'll even say for a player, like it's a little premature for them to go to the MLS, especially like for example, Landon Donovan, even though I really don't like Landon Donovan. He was talking about how he thought Christian Pulisic should come right now to the MLS. It's like, nah, dude, like let him play in Europe. Let him go play with AC Milan. and do great things. Like he's not at that part of his life where he needs to be coming to the MLS. So that was kind of one of my examples, if you will. But continue on. Gabriel Vega from Celta Vigo, he is actually leaving. The rumor was that he was going to go to Napoli, but turns out that was a fucking lie because he is now joining Al Ali over in the Saudi League. So flip side, this is where I'm kind of ruffled by, because Gabriel Vega, super talented player in my opinion, has so much potential. Actually, a player that I've noticed a few times last season for Player of the Week, and he goes and plays in Saudi Arabia. Now, this isn't saying that he's not going to come back to Europe. Maybe he just needs the money. Maybe he just wants to leave Celta Vigo. I mean, Celta Vigo was in the cusp of almost getting relegated last season. I could be wrong on that one, but obviously they're not competing for anything. Maybe he wants somewhere he wants to go into a better situation or gets a chance to just get money. And I mean, that's kind of the thing for South American players, because a lot of South American players come from nothing. So, or not come from not great situations. And maybe this was for him, his chance to finally take care of his family. And I get all those things, but it's just for me, like, he had a chance to go. He was going to go to Napoli. Now, what happened in Napoli, I can't tell you. I don't know what exactly broke down, but I felt like that would have been a great opportunity for him. It's just that next stepping stone for him to continue to build his career, especially with a club like Napoli who won Serie A the previous season. But yeah, I'm this one is one of those that, like, I don't want to see, but I get it. I totally get it. Like, at the end of the day, it's their decision. It's their lives. I have no real place to say anything about it, but this is how I felt. That's all I got to say about that. But moving on, Johnny Evans is staying at Manchester United as he signs a 1-year extension. Jeremy Doku, a player that Manchester City has been really had an eye on for the majority of the summer. They got him. He's going to Manchester City. So another promising, I believe, Belgian player going to Manchester City. Kieran Tierney is joining Real Sociedad on loan. I personally, as someone that likes Arsenal, I will tell you, I think this kind of sucks. Like, I'm kind of curious about the depth, especially when you have Jurriën Timber out with injury. You have Tomiyasu and Tierney. I mean, I guess Zinchenko as well. But I feel like depth-wise, we probably could have needed Tierney in Arsenal. But, hey, he's going to go to Real Sociedad. He's going to be able to play. Which also, like, as someone that, like, admires what how Tierney plays, I think that, that also helps him out too. So, not fully against it. I just wish he would have stayed at Arsenal. Ajax is interested in Thiago Almada. Obviously the promising Argentine over at Atlanta United. Atlanta United is not looking too good, so maybe an opportunity for him to finally do what he was hoping to do, which was go to MLS, show out. He got selected by he got selected by Argentina, was part of Argentina's World Cup team. And now, maybe it's time for him to go to Europe and test it out. I mean, don't see Atlanta United really contesting for anything this season, so maybe let him go get that bag, man. Atlanta United could probably benefit from a transfer for Thiago Almada, because obviously that's more resources coming their way. That's just a thought for me, but yeah. So Ajax interested in Thiago Almada. We'll see how that works out. Philip Coutinho joins Al Duhail. Philip Coutinho, man, a guy that, like, just fell off. Like, he just after leaving Liverpool, going to Barcelona for a lot of money. I'm sure Edward still is haunted by that to this day. I mean, he's just a flop that happened, man. His career was never the same. And now he's joining Saudi Arabia. Now, once again, I'm not against. This is one of those moves that I'm just not against. Like, I mean, I don't know if there was much left for him to prove. He's just been struggling, man. Maybe he can find it again in Saudi Arabia. Maybe he comes back to Europe, or maybe goes elsewhere. But yeah, I think his time in in Europe is probably done, because I feel like a fresh start could help him. Maybe Saudi Arabia is that fresh start that he needs. So there's that. Alexis Sanchez is joining Inter Milan, so he's returning to Inter Milan. A guy that you would think that is probably done and maybe could go to should be one of those players that go to Europe. I mean, go to Saudi Arabia. And he wants to stay in Europe, and I probably admire that a little bit more, if it honestly, but yeah, I think still it looks like he still has a lot left in the tank, man. To be honest, so we'll see how Alexis Sanchez does in Inter Milan. Dean Henderson joins Crystal Palace. I will say shout out to Yanks of the Round Table. They had some interesting hot takes about Onana, and then they were talking about Dean Henderson. Well, Dean Henderson's going to Crystal Palace. So there you go. The update on Dean Henderson. He's joining Crystal Palace. Hugo Lloris opts out of Lazio. So that is interesting. We thought he signed with Lazio, and turns out that's not happening. I'm curious to see what happened, and maybe if there's another offer that Hugo Lloris takes to continue playing, or maybe he's going to retire. Who knows? But we just know he's not going to be playing in Lazio. Still talking about goalkeepers. Ter Stegen is signing a new contract with Barcelona. So Barcelona will maintain their goalkeeper for a few more years to come. It's crazy because like when Barcelona has a goalkeeper, it's like they strike gold in some sense. Like I know Victor Valdez probably wasn't the best goalkeeper, obviously, in that period when it comes to Spanish goalkeepers, because you had Iker Casillas, but Victor Valdez still a very solid goalkeeper for Barcelona for quite some time. And then, obviously, they move on from him, and then they get Claudio Bravo, who was another just top class goalkeeper. And now they have Ter Stegen, who I would say if Germany doesn't have him as the starting goalkeeper, it would be ridiculous. Because he honestly is a top class goalkeeper. I think he's already surpassed Manuel Neuer in my eyes, which takes a lot for me to say because I really don't try to give props to Barcelona players. But yeah, Ter Stegen is definitely a class above now. Especially, to be honest, with Neuer with his injuries, it's probably obvious that it's clear that Ter Stegen should definitely be the starter as goalkeeper, but I think it's time for the Ter Stegen era to start for Germany, for sure. João Cancelo is joining Barcelona on loan with an option to buy. I'm already gonna tell you, Edward's not liking this. I can guarantee you, Edward does not like this move at all. Nothing against João Cancelo, but obviously, Edward doesn't want old players. At least that's what he thinks. That's how he views them, is old players. But João Cancelo has been wanting to go to Barcelona. Barcelona's actually wanted João for quite some time now. Yeah. So Manchester City, he made it clear to Manchester City that he wants out, but he wanted to play for Barcelona, and he wanted that move to happen. And they got the move. They got it done. So João Cancelo is now joining Barcelona. Lukaku is joining Roma on loan. So Jose Mourinho is going to try to fix Romelu Lukaku. We'll see how that works out. And then Folarin Balogun joins Monaco. So quite the transfer period so far. Obviously, the transfer window should be wrapping up pretty soon. So we'll do a quick rundown if anything falls, like any little aftermath next week. And then that'll be the end of transfer talks. But all right, headlines. Toni Kroos has been someone that I have said many times is the depiction of old man yells at cloud. And, well, it continues, man. So Toni Kroos calls out Saudi Arabian League, which I feel like a lot of people have been saying. But what is it this time about Saudi Arabia that Toni Kroos does not approve of? And, well, here it is. So after the announcement of Gabriel Vega's move to Al Ahly, Toni Kroos went out and actually commented on the post. It was a post on Instagram, and Toni Kroos actually commented embarrassing on the post. And so we're like, oh, here comes again Toni Kroos. Old man yells at cloud. And I'll say a lot of things that Toni Kroos does that bothers him is kind of ridiculous. Like the whole goal celebrations of Aubameyang. To me, that was kind of dumb. But I think this one, there's a reason behind it, and it's because the reason he doesn't like this move, and it's kind of similar to what I just said. He believes that young players moving to Saudi Arabia for money is not right. Okay, I'm not gonna say I believe it's not right. I just don't think for them it's their best alternative. I think that they need to stick it out in Europe. You're making pretty good money. I know it's not Saudi Arabian money, but you're making good money nonetheless. And obviously, if you stay competing in Europe, competing in Champions Leagues or Europa Leagues or any other any of those tournaments, you're gonna get noticed, and then you're going to get that big splash move to a top European club. And weirdly enough, we're talking about Gabri Vega, a player that I did mention that, I think it is too early for him to be doing this type of move. I think maybe he once again, I don't know what happened in Napoli, but I feel like he should have tested that opportunity, because it was an opportunity to go to Champions League. It was an opportunity to play against AC Milan, Juventus, Inter Milan. Like, you're gonna go up against some high quality clubs, and who's to say that, like, let's say you get put in a group with Manchester City and you're able to ball out. Well, if you get Pep Guardiola's eye, you have a big splash money move to go to Manchester City, and once again, it's not the Saudi money that they're throwing out to these players right now, but I guarantee you, your reputation as a player is going to be significantly higher. So that's my gripe. That is my gripe with it. But obviously, Toni Kroos just doesn't think it's right for young players. And honestly, the only reason why you're going to Saudi Arabia is for the money. There is no other reason to go to Saudi Arabia besides the money. It's not and I'm gonna get shots for this. It's not a well-respected league, because probably some people have never heard of the league. It's barely gonna get televised. So yeah, Fox Sports is going to be covered, at least here in the United States. Is the Saudi League is going to be available on Fox Sports, which, if it wasn't for the fact that they had Karim Benzema and N'Golo Kante, Cristiano Ronaldo, Roberto Firmino, like, if you didn't have these players in some of these rosters, nobody would have taken this deal. So I'm just gonna point that out. I'm not trying to be petty or anything like that, but it's just the honest truth. Like, this league wouldn't get what it's getting right now if it wasn't for the fact that they have these high marquee players now in their league, because they had players like Abubakar. They had Daniel Spina in Al Nassr for quite some time. No one gave a shit about this league. So that's my whole thing. You're not going into this league because, oh, the competition is really respectable. Oh, it's a very competitive league. You're not going there for those reasons. You're going there for one reason only, and that's the money. And there's no shame about it. There is no shame for saying, I'm going to the Saudi League for money. Just don't bullshit a bullshitter. Like, that's really what it is for me. So I don't know what for me personally, I haven't really seen what Gabri Vega really said his reason to go there. I'm assuming it's money. It's going to be the money. Like, 10 times out of 10, it's about the money. If you're going to Saudi Arabia, it's because of the money. There's no other reason for you to go there. Like, I'm just gonna be frank. That's honest, the truth. And that's not saying and I'm sure someone's gonna be like, well, if you received an offer to go play in Saudi Arabia, would you take it? Fuck yeah, the money. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Yes, it's a lot of money. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take the money. Why would I not take the money? It's more money than I'll ever see in my life. I can make what I can make in a day. It will be what I would need to make 5 years, 5 years in my life. Of course, I'm going to take the money, but like I said, it's different. It's different because, like I said, Gabri Vega is a high potential player. In my eyes, some people might say this guy's overrated, but like, Gabri Vega has a high potential player, and you can't say that he's not a high potential player because Napoli was looking at him. So, like, like I said, I don't know what happened with Napoli. I just don't. Maybe something happened that was detrimental to Gabri Vega's career, and I can't tell. I can't tell you what happened. But all I know is he just didn't go to Napoli, and now he's going to Saudi Arabia playing for Al Ahly. Which what's done is done. It happened. Like there's no going back now. Gabri Vega made his decision. He's got to now deal with it, and of course I'm sure he knew that he was going to get a lot of backlash for taking this opportunity. So I'm not mad at him for taking the opportunity. He had an opportunity to take care of his family, probably more than he ever thought he could, and he got it. So I'm not mad at for him to do that. But when for me, Toni Kroos, to me, he's very old school, and so that is where the problem lies because Toni Kroos is just gonna say what he is. He's very opinionated and he states his opinions. But the problem is that he doesn't have necessarily an issue with the Saudi League. I think he sees it kind of how, like he sees it where I can see why an older player who's done everything in his career would go there. So like a Cristiano Ronaldo, like a Karim Benzema, like a N'Golo Kante, like he can see why they would go to Saudi Arabia. Because they're established, they've done it. They don't have nothing left to prove in Europe. But for a player like Gabri Vega who hasn't really accomplished anything, it's a hard argument to say, yeah, go there. Like you haven't done anything. You were playing for Celta Vigo, and nothing against Celta Vigo, but like it's not Real Madrid. It's not AC Milan. It's not Bayern Munich. It's not Manchester City. So like the issue is that Gabri Vega has so much ahead of him. And that's kind of the reason why Mbappe didn't take this deal, because he has so much ahead of him. He had to still prove himself in the highest level, and he's still, obviously what he's seeking is Ballon d'Or. Maybe Gabri Vega thinks that that's probably not a reality for him. Maybe he thinks that, that opportunity to play for a top club isn't there for him, which I really hate that's how, if that's how you would feel, because I really do think this guy's really good. But hey, who's to say? He goes to Saudi Arabia, plays for one season over there, balls out, and then a team in Europe, like, hey man, let's bring this kid over here. So like that's still a possibility. That's still very much a possibility. But I think like maybe he feels that he's not gonna get that viewership in Celta Vigo. Maybe that's what he feels like. Maybe he feels that if he can show out this league that has N'Golo Kante, it has Cristiano Ronaldo, it has, Roberto Firmino. Like if he can do this in this league with all these star-studded players, maybe. So like, I'm really like, I think because I really do like Vega. I think that Vega's a really good player, that I'm trying to find a way that this deal makes sense to me. But I understand what Toni Kroos is coming from, because I still am not I don't think that it's right that a lot of young players are going. And it goes back to the way the Chinese Super League was. Like I wasn't all for Oscar going to the Chinese Super League, because I think that he still had so much to prove in Europe. It's the same thing how I feel with Vega. Like he has still so much to prove in Europe that he has no reason to go to this league. But we'll see. We'll see how that works out. We'll see how that happens. Toni Kroos is gonna be that old man that yells at cloud. Toni Kroos will remain being the old man that yells at cloud, no matter what. It's one of the traits that I find most funny about Toni Kroos is that he is the old man that yells at cloud, and of course he's not gonna like Saudi Arabia. Of course he's not gonna like young players going to Saudi Arabia. I don't think anybody should have been shocked by that, because that's Toni Kroos. That's like what he does. He doesn't like people celebrating goals. He doesn't. So to me, the best way to describe Toni Kroos, especially when little matters like this happens, is that he is old man that yells at cloud, because Toni Kroos yells at clouds. And so that's gonna be it for that one. So this is gonna be the big chunk of this discussion, man. Of this headlines. I just got a notification that Gio Reyna will not be with the U.S. men's national team, though I think he may be dealing with some injuries. So I mean, that's like the hindsight. But anyways, we'll get there when it get. We'll talk about that later. But not later this episode, maybe in the next episode. But all right. So I did touch up on this when I recapped the Women's World Cup final, which is obviously the Luis Rubiales kissing scandal that happened in the during the medal ceremony. So if you guys don't know, the Spanish Federation president. All right, sorry about that. Had to take a call. Sorry about that. All right, so yeah, kind of coming back to this. So Spanish Federation president Luis Rubiales, he ends up grabbing Jennifer Hermoso and grabs her. Well, okay, so context. Luis Rubiales is obviously like, hugging every player, kissing them on the cheek. So everybody's hugging him. That like, and so I get all those things. So what happened was obviously Jennifer Hermoso comes in. He gives her a big hug. I think he kissed her on the cheek as well, but I don't know. They clearly something got really exciting for him, and then he grabs her head and brings her in, and then kisses her on the lips. Now, for me, I will say, I know it's customary in Europe to kiss people on the cheeks. I know that's the custom. I've seen it. I've seen it either on television, and I've also seen. I've known some people that are European that have done that with me. So I know kissing on the cheeks is customary. So I know that's not inappropriate, because I know that there's a lot of people, and not even just Europe. Like even in my own family, like we'll hug somebody, kiss them on the cheeks. Once again, on the cheeks, not lips. Just pointing that out. But what happened ends up being that Rubiales, after they hug, grabs her head and then brings her in for a kiss on the lips. And so there was a lot of backlash from this. So Rubiales tries to explain himself. He's like, it was a mutual kiss and was caught in the moment. And I do sort of believe the caught in the moment part, not so much the mutual part, but being just caught up in the moment, just being excited. You're jumping around, you're hugging everybody. You won the World Cup. All that stuff. I get. I totally get that part, but it's the part of you grabbing her head and fucking just slamming her on your face. That's the part where I don't think that there's any mutual about it, because it didn't seem like there was any moment like, hey, I'm gonna grab your head and kiss you. Like, so that's the only thing with me. So Luis Rubiales, that's his argument. Jennifer Hermoso does end up speaking out. She said that she did not enjoy it, but she defended Luis Rubiales. So clearly, there was some sort. So everyone's like thinking, oh, maybe it was consensual. Because if she's defending him, maybe it's consensual. So she clarified though that the kiss was not consensual in any way, and the reason why she chose to defend Luis Rubiales was because she just wanted to alleviate the pressure. She wanted to kind of avoid, like, distracting from the fact that Spain won the World Cup, and so and here's the thing. I think I get that part too. I think I get it. You go through. Spain has been just such a whole debacle. Like, I mean, there's been a lot of controversy with the treatment of the women's national team in Spain, and so for me, it is maybe she's like, oh, there's one last. We can't be dealing with more shit. So like, we just won the World Cup. Can we just win the World Cup? And so I get that part. I get that completely. So I don't necessarily like mad at that, but maybe she's just like, oh, I just don't want to deal with this shit right now. I just don't want to deal with it. I want to just celebrate winning the World Cup. Because honestly, this is what this kiss happened. It literally deviated away from the World Cup. Like, that's what it took away. Like, instead of people talking about Spain winning the World Cup, we're talking about Luis Rubiales grabbing Jennifer Hermoso by the face and kissing her on the lips. Like, that's all we're talking about. We're not talking about Spain winning the World Cup, of how amazing the Spanish team performed to win the World Cup. And I mean, I can get that logic as well. So Rubiales was told that he needed to issue an apology. I feel like he didn't really apologize, but that's just me. But he tried to issue an apology. And more people are actually a lot more annoyed than anything else from that apology, because the Spanish Prime Minister and many others wants a punishment. Your Prime Minister wants, like, not good enough. And now the players union is actually stepping in on behalf of Hermoso, that they want a punishment for Luis Rubiales, which obviously that would mean that a resignation, just a forced resignation. FIFA has started their investigation. Like I said, you gotta like look at everything. I think there's people like saying that, like, Jennifer Hermoso like was picking him up, she was hugging him, and once again, I don't think that if your logic is that, oh, she hugged him, she clearly wanted to be kissed. That's like the dumbest logic I have ever heard in my life. You can hug somebody and still not want to kiss them. But like, I think that they were all excited. They won the World Cup. Luis Rubiales, like, that's the president of the FA. Even though there's a lot of like I said, a lot of controversy with his presidency in Spain. But I think they were just like, let's try to move on from this. We're in this moment right now. And but so FIFA will be conducting an investigation. There has been support from everywhere, that from NWSL, other fellow women's soccer players, and also the Spain's men's national team has also spoke out. Isco being one of the first players that I could think of that actually spoke out. Borja Iglesias actually is going to boycott his call up, so he's actually not going to go to Spain's national team's call up. And there's been a lot of support for a lot of the amongst all the Spanish players. Obviously, we had that big press conference with Rubiales where he kept saying that he was not going to resign, that he was not going to resign, that he was not going to resign. And everyone was just like clapping him up. That's right, man. That's right. Nah, dude, just, a lot of this could just be alleviated from just you resigning, just stepping down. Because there's a lot of shit that has been happening since Rubiales has been president of Spain. But I mean, he doesn't have to resign because FIFA has suspended Rubiales from all football related activities. I'm assuming they're going to go ahead and just conduct an investigation. Right now he's suspended for right now, but once the investigation done, the FIFA will make a decision on whether to keep him as president or that they're going to force him to resign. So that's going to be what it is. I guess remove him from his presidency. I guess from all this also, you gotta notice is Jorge Villalba is actually did receive a new contract, which probably because you won the World Cup. But what's funny is that he's actually the only coach that's coming back from that Spanish national team staff, because all 11 staff members actually resigned immediately after Rubiales refused to resign. So that's a big statement. And honestly, Jorge Villalba, it's a very controversial resigning because of like I said, there's been so much controversy with Spain because of the mistreatment of the players. The Spanish national team players have been very, very much mistreated, and the coach Jorge Villalba is one of those guys that has been mistreating them. But if you guys want to realize like how bad it's been, well, like some of the highlights of Luis Rubiales' career now that he's suspended, going back to June 2018, he fires Lopetegui before the World Cup. So obviously, Lopetegui was announced that after the World Cup he would that he accepted the Real Madrid job once the World Cup was over. So he was going after the World Cup. He was going to step down as the Spanish national team coach and go and coach Real Madrid. And Luis Rubiales just went ahead and just fired him literally a month before the FIFA World Cup started. So that's one of the things to highlight. In January 2020, he wins his trial for assault allegations. So he was receiving assault allegations back in 2020, but he did win that one. In April 2022, he was claimed to be using the federation's money to pay his rent. Not his paycheck, the federation's budget to pay his rent. In September 2022 was definitely a very eventful month for him, because he was also once again accused of using the federation's money, but this time for a party. And then in that same month, he ignored the women's national team's request for improvement and accused them of pressuring the federation. This is kind of where the controversy happened with Jorge Vilda, that like the current the current situation for the Spanish women's national team was just not ideal, and he just ignored them and accused them of pressuring the federation to fire Jorge Vilda, which I don't think was necessarily what they were doing. They just wanted to improve their situation and their work conditions. And so and then October 2022, he ended up stating that Sevilla, Valencia, and Villarreal were teams that he disliked, which is something kind of what you shouldn't be doing as a Spanish Federation president, because obviously, like, and I mean, Luis Rubiales is also a former player. Not using that as an excuse, but obviously, like, I think at the end of the day, we're all fans in some sense. We're all like supporters in some way. So we're gonna have teams that we despise and teams that we don't. But when you get put in these in these sort of positions, or you start working for some of these clubs, that bias has to just go right away. Like, I will tell you from my experience working in sports, like, I work for the Houston Rockets. I'm not a Houston Rockets fan in any shape or form. But obviously now I'm in a different way of invested in the team because now I work there. They pay me for my allegiance. And so when we did play the Lakers, it was very tough, but you know what? If the Rockets beat the Lakers, it was a good day for me because it meant it improved our chances of going to the playoffs. So, but that's just the whole thing. But, to kind of share my thoughts, to close my thoughts out on this situation, and it's actually just came out that Luis Rubiales' mom actually has locked herself in a church in protest of her son's suspension. Dude, come on. Like, it's just take your L. You know what you did was inappropriate. Like, there's no real way of trying to make this. There's no way you can spin zone this and you can come out clean out of it, because you did something very inappropriate. And it doesn't matter if your dumb logic is that, oh, she asked for it, which is, hopefully she never uses that argument, but like, you are the president of the Spanish Federation. Like, you can't do that shit. Like, you can't do these kind of things because anything you do is detrimental to you. Like, I'm not tripping about you hugging players and kissing them on the cheeks, because like, that's not, for me, that's, and I mean, some people may find that inappropriate, but once again, I know that for some cultures that's customary. It's a problem when you grab somebody by the face and kiss them on the lips. That's where it becomes inappropriate, at least to me. Like I said, some people might have a lot closer of a line. Some people might be saying, dude, why are you hugging people? Like, just dab them up and then call it a day. Shake hands and then go. But like, and I get the whole, oh, we just won the World Cup. It's the spur of the moment, all the energy, and I got excited. I get, like, the feeling of like winning. It does, get you do some dumb things, like you do a dumb dance or some shit. But like, you're at a high position of authority, and you're already controversial as it is. Like, you doing this, like, one, like, kind of going back to what I said last week, you ruined a perfect day for somebody. Like, Jennifer Hermoso, like, this was going to be the best day ever for her. She just won the World Cup, and now it's forever ruined. And then of all things, you try to tarnish her name. Like, you sink so low that you go as far as tarnishing her name. Oh no, she's lying. That she enjoyed it. It was mutual. Like, you're trying to tarnish her name for you to come out coming like roses. But the reality is that there's nothing you can do at this point. You were in the wrong. You did something wrong. Whether or not Hermosa was in on it, this was, at the end of the day, highly inappropriate, because once again, you are the president of the Spanish Federation of Football Association president. Like, you did something very inappropriate. Like, that's it. Like, that's in any job. Like, if the manager of the store goes and kisses his cashier and lives in front of everybody, you don't do that because it's inappropriate. So I'm sorry, but yeah, you should just resign, dude. Like, there's nothing that you can do to clear your name. Everyone caught you. It was on television. Everyone's replaying it over and over and over again, trying to see where's the mutual consent? Where's the where was the mutual part of the kiss? I do believe that the hug and the kiss on the cheeks, I believe that is, for a matter of fact, mutual, because a lot of the players, and once again, I'm not trying to argue it, but like, clearly that wasn't the terrible part. It was the part where you grabbed her and kissed her on the lips. So for me, this is just me. For me, just take your L, just step down, get your mom out of that church, and try to do better. It happened at the end of the day, but there's no recovery from this. So that's really all I got. Hopefully decision hopefully a decision is made pretty soon on what happens. I don't really think that there's much left to investigate on. But yeah, we just need to move on from this and just call it a day. But all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a break, and then we'll get going with debate topic.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at BellyUpSports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
All right, it's debate time. Debate time is brought to you by Canadips. Canadips is a great taste and superior alternative to traditional dip, using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It is all flavor, no tobacco, no nicotine, and it's pouches that are spit-free. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Crafted and manufactured in Humboldt County, California, the heart of the cannabis industry. Traditional dip is a hassle. It's addictive, messy, and overall just tastes like shit. So what Cannadips does is it uses 100% American-grown hemp combined with water dispersible technology so that it absorbs rapidly, and has developed a way to deliver CBD through the mouth that no one else has, so you can actually enjoy it. So where can you get this? If you go to CannadipsCBD.com and use the code BellyUp20, save yourself 20% off your purchase at CannadipsCBD.com. Use the code BellyUp20 to save yourself 20% off your purchase. So the debate topic is pretty simple. It is should MLS. I was gonna say MLS players, but now I'm kind of thinking, should MLS be? No, I'll keep with the current thing. Should MLS players act professionally around Messi? So this has been a thing that's been going on lately with the MLS, that it is not more so. The Messi glazing has definitely been something that's kind of been viewed as a little bit annoying to some. Like, I get it. Like, you don't need to sell a Messi game. Like, you really don't. Fans know Messi's coming. Like, since Messi has joined MLS, people are starting to keep track of Messi's schedule, so they know when he's coming to play in their city. I don't. So I think, one, if when you're selling tickets to fans that are fans of the actual home market, and you use Messi as a selling point, it's it to me, it's kind of a slap to the face to the actual fans of these MLS teams. Like, I get that, like, a huge chunk of these fans that are coming to watch these MLS matches are not there to see the New York Red Bulls. They're not there to see FC Cincinnati. They're not there to see Nashville SC. They're not there to see FC Dallas. They're there for one person only, and that's Lionel Messi. They don't even care about Inter Miami. They care about Messi. And so I get all those things. But and I get that this is like prime opportunity to get more out of it. I get all those things, like sell sell the tickets. But when you're selling Messi merch, and it's clear my Inter Miami stuff, like, it's cleared, like, it's pink. Like, I get if it's just like a random Messi shirt, but like, you are selling Messi gear with the Inter Miami colors in your stores when Messi's in town. And I get it, like, take full advantage of all those things, but like you're really just slapping fans in the face when you're trying to sell tickets. Come see Messi. And I get it, like, you're trying to sell to the fans that are going there not to watch your MLS team. But like, for those that do care about the MLS team, it is such a slap to their loyalty. So, like, I would say, if they want to go buy Messi gear, they can go shop online. Regardless, Messi's getting the money. But like, your team store, maybe they get a profit off of it, but like, no. Like, no, just don't do that. But like, for you to use this selling point, this is your selling point to get fans to come. They know that he's coming. If you're a real Messi fan, you know when Messi's coming. Like, you're going to go above and beyond to make sure, like, if he's within your region, you're going to go watch him. If it's within a means, you're going to go see Messi. So, like, for me, like, it's not that. It's not a big deal. But when clubs are promoting Messi, not the club, but promoting Messi, a guy that's on the opposing team, that's where I have a problem with it. But obviously, this isn't about how the Messi glazing isn't this topic. The topic is, how are the players acting? So obviously, when the Leagues Cup final, Dax McCarthy, he took a picture holding a Messi jersey in the locker room and saying, like, well, at least I got something out of it. Come on, man. Come on. Once again, I get it. It's Messi. I'm not trying to say don't be excited about meeting Messi. But your fans just saw you lose a final. Like, how are they gonna? What do you think they're gonna? Their reaction is to it when you just lost the final, and you're here cheerful about getting a Messi jersey? And I'm sure that this happens everywhere. Like, one of the things I remember from Andres Guardado, like, after Real Betis played Barcelona, I believe, I'm assuming Real Betis lost. He went to the locker room to go talk to Messi so Messi could meet his son. So like, but that's once again behind closed doors. Like, to me, what happened there is not different. I still was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? But I think also to a fault, I think it's just why is someone recording this? Like, I mean, to me, it's different when it's in the locker room. When it's out there in the field, that's where I have more of a problem with. And I understand that the whole Dax McCarthy post was in the locker room, but I think I wouldn't have posted that if you ask me. But also, like, FC Dallas, you battled it out with Inter Miami in the Leagues Cup, and you're over here lining up, taking pictures with him like he's Mickey Mouse in Disney World, in the field, on the field. Like, do that shit in the locker room. That, like, to me, that's where it's like, bro, like, like, your fans are already irritated as it is, and you're gonna go out there and just take pictures with Messi. Same thing with FC Cincinnati, man. You just lost the semifinal against Inter Miami, and what does Brandon Vasquez do? He goes and does a jersey swap and gets an autograph from Messi. Okay, I don't think he did a jersey swap, but he went and got an autograph from Messi. Do that shit in the locker room. Like, that's my only gripe. Like, yes, I know it's Messi. Messi does this everywhere. Messi even, I'm sure he did it in Liga 1. I'm sure Messi did it in La Liga. Like, do it in the locker rooms. Like, once the game's over, don't do it out on the field, dude. Like, especially like, you're in FC Cincinnati. You're in there in Cincinnati, and your fans are just deflated because you guys blew a 2-0 lead for one, and then they got to go watch their star player, who's been linked to Borussia Mönchengladbach, their star player coming up and like dabbing, like, oh, hey, Messi can get an autograph. Like, dude, come on. Like, there's a time and place for everything. And that's something I've said plenty of times, like, working at work, when I used to work at the Houston Dynamo Academy, was like, because, like, I get it, man. Like, that's why I'm like, it's not like I'm not mad about it, but I get it. Like, I'm mad about it, but I also get it at the same time, because, like, there's players that you see, like, that you never thought you could imagine. And for instance, Hector Herrera, like, the kids are excited to see Hector Herrera. Like, they're working out, they're doing weights, and like Hector Herrera is like right there in the same gym with them. And so, like, I get that 100%. But, like, once again, it's about being professional. It's about, like, there's a time and place for everything. That time and place is not to be, trying to get pictures with Hector Herrera while he's trying to get a set in. Like, the time and place isn't to go get an autograph from Messi after you just lost to him in a semifinal out on the field. Like, the right time would be to do it once you're in the locker rooms. Go to his locker room. It's not difficult to go to the opposing team's locker room, especially when you're a player, so, like, that for me is the issue. Like, I do think that players need to be more professional when it comes to being around Messi. And I'm sure he's used to this already. Like, I'm sure he gets this everywhere he went, like, including Liga 1, including La Liga, including playing for Argentina. Like, people are just gonna want to get a photo with Messi. Like, he's used to that by now. But it's already, like, annoying. I think there's a lot of MLS fans that are very much annoyed about Messi at this point because of the fact that it seems like the league is more leaning towards more Messi. The fact that it just seems impossible to lose to Messi, to beat Messi. And everyone's gonna be like, well, he plays for Inter Miami. Well, a lot of people look more at it as Messi. They don't. To be honest, most people that go watch Inter Miami, they're going there to watch Messi. They're not going there to watch Inter Miami, unfortunately. The goal is to hopefully convert some of these Messi fans into Inter Miami fans. But those aren't the people I'm talking about. Those aren't the people I'm like, this issue is directed towards. The issue is directed towards the players, the fans of, is coming from fans of other teams. Like, I understand that it's Lionel Messi. It's the best player in the world. I get that 100%. 100%. Shoot, I would probably be in the same situation. I would be on the same boat too. But like, do it in the locker room. Don't do it out on, like, don't do it on the field, because it's just like, were you more focused on meeting Messi than you were playing the game? I think most fans are thinking. And so I think that, yes, players need to be more professional not against Messi, but be more professional around Messi. Like, if you want a picture with him, wait till after the game. And I think obviously they're waiting after the game. The game's over. But like, once you're in the locker rooms, go over and get pictures with Messi. Or like, if you're gonna, obviously when everyone like shakes hands and after the game, hey, obviously everyone does the little mouth covering part so no one sees their lips. But like, hey Messi, tell them, hey Messi, can we do a jersey swap, or hey, can I get your autograph in the locker room? Like, can I get the locker? Once we're all clean up, can I get your autograph? Like, because the other thing too was that with Brandon Vasquez, I don't know what he got signed. It could have been a jersey, but like, whatever it was, he brought it out. He had it with him ready to get it signed by Messi. So like, for me, like I said, I think that the MLS players do need to be a little bit more professional, because I really don't remember seeing anything like this, even in Ligue 1, even in La Liga, even in Champions League, even in the international level. I've never seen anybody like do this out on the field for Messi. And like, y'all can tell me I'm wrong. Y'all can tell me that like that it happened a lot, but like it's happened more frequently here in the MLS. And so like, for me, like it like, do that shit in the locker room. Do the shit, behind closed doors, because like, we all know we're all fans. At the end of the day, we know that like these players were once fans of not just Messi, but like of just of a different soccer club, and so like, that's not the issue. The issue is just like, once again, like, there's a time and place for everything, and that time and place was not on the field, like in front of your especially like, I'm sure there's still fans out there like kind of just like, oh fuck, what a loss. And I think contextually too, you're talking about a semifinal. You were close to going to a final. In a year that FC Cincinnati has been looking really solid, probably one of the better teams in MLS right now. And you had a chance to go to another cup final. Go to a cup final. And you blow it. For one, you lost. You were up 2-0, and then you lose it, losing pens. And then of all things, then you go watch you have to go see your best player, or one of your favorite players, Brandon Vasquez, go up to Messi and ask him for an autograph after they just lost. So context does matter, I think, in this. And I think like, players do need to think a little bit better when it comes to how they approach Messi after games. Like, I get doing a jersey swaps are different. Jersey swaps, I don't necessarily think that's, because that's something that happens everywhere. My issue is just like getting his picture, on the, it's like lining it up. Like once again, like, it's like we're talking about freaking Mickey Mouse at Disney World, like how they were lined up to go get a picture with Messi. And so like, I think that there needs to be some changes on that as well. Changes in that, like, I do think that MLS players, there needs to be a proper way to act, especially with dealing with Messi, because like I said, right now, I think it's a sensitive subject right now with Messi. Like, everybody's excited about Messi, but at the same time, it's like really difficult right now, because it seems like the league is more leaning towards Messi. And I don't want to say that, because obviously I don't want to come off as a Messi hater, because I do like Messi. Even as a Real Madrid fan, I always like Messi. But like, the issue is just that it's just like, right now it's already like, oh, there's nothing you can do. You just can't beat Messi. And then on top of that, like, your ticket sales that are doing really well when Miami's in town is more so because of Messi. And then you're seeing you're seeing a lot more pink jerseys. which are Messi. You're seeing a lot more pink or Argentina jerseys or Barcelona jerseys of Messi, instead of and the crowd's cheering louder for Inter Miami for Messi. Once again, for Messi, and so it's just like, as a fan, like, you're probably getting a little irritated of it, because you also want like fans to come enjoy your local club. Obviously that the Messi effect, that's the part that kind of harms that. But that's my view on it. If you guys think differently, obviously, share in the comments, or it'll be posted on Instagram and X at InsertName FC. So if you guys want to share your thoughts on what you think, you go ahead and put that as well. But all right, Players of the Week is brought to you by In the Clutch. In the Clutch is an amazing clothing apparel company that has been partnered with the Players Associations of Major League Soccer, Major League Baseball, NFL, the National Basketball Association, and so much more, man. These shirts are incredible. The designs are amazing. The just the material is great. And they have passed the Fat Boy test, quoted by Kelsey Coyne of High Low Sports. So if you guys want to check out their selection, it is intheclutch.com. If you use that code InsertName at checkout, you'll save yourself 10% off your purchase. So once again, use the code InsertName over there at intheclutch.com. Intheclutch.com. Great shirts, great apparel. I highly recommend it. But our Players of the Week. So Edwards' Player of the Week is Robert Lewandowski. He scored the winning goal for Barcelona. So that's why, against Villarreal, and their 3-2 win against Villarreal. So that's why Edward picked Robert Lewandowski. And my Player of the Week is Kylian Mbappe, who scored 2 goals in PSG's 3-1 win against RC Lens, which was their first win of the season. So Kylian Mbappe doing Kylian Mbappe things. So congratulations to Robert Lewandowski and Kylian Mbappe for being our Players of the Week. Thanks to you again to In the Clutch. Once again, use that code InsertName at checkout. Save yourself 10% off your purchase at In the Clutch. All right. So games to look forward to this coming weekend. Al Ittihad taking on Al Hilal over in Saudi Arabia. Shamrock Rovers taking on Bohemians in Ireland. 2 teams that are doing really well right now in Ireland, actually. Botafogo versus Flamengo in Brazil. We got the Old Firm Derby. Rangers versus Celtic over there in Scotland. It's the oldest rivalry in all of soccer. Heavily contested. Well, probably not so much recently, but it's still a very, very classic rivalry. So if you guys want to go ahead and check out the Old Firm Derby, it's a really good one. I do enjoy it. It's one of those that I definitely keep an eye out for, because I like watching this one, especially since I'm not a fan of any of these 2 teams. So I would say go ahead and check that out. In Belgium, we got KAA Ghent taking on Club Brugge, and Racing Genk taking on Anderlecht. So those are what's going on around outside of the other leagues that we normally cover. And MLS, we got the LA Galaxy taking on the Houston Dynamo. Houston Dynamo looked pretty good since coming out of the Leagues Cup. So we'll see if they continue that form. And LAFC taking on Inter Miami. Messi going to Hollywood for this one. So that's going to be a big crowd. And it's crazy. Well, not crazy, but it's going to be interesting, because LAFC definitely one of the more fun fan bases to look at it, and definitely know how to pack a stadium. So we'll see how the black sprinkled in with a little bit of pink and white and blue. How's that going to look over there? Is it going to be all black, and is it going to be a true LAFC home game, or are we going to see the Messi stands come out? We'll see what happens there. In Liga MX, we have Cruz Azul taking on Club America, so a little DF rivalry there. And Chivas de Guadalajara taking on Monterrey. In Ligue 1, we got Brest versus Stade Rennes, and Lyon versus PSG, both trying to get in form. In the Bundesliga, we got Borussia Mönchengladbach taking on Bayern Munich, FC Union Berlin versus RB Leipzig. In the Serie A, we got Roma versus AC Milan, Napoli versus Lazio. Keep an eye out for Roma. Maybe look how it comes off the bench. We'll see what happens there. In La Liga, we got Atletico Madrid taking on Sevilla. Atletico Madrid coming off of a big win that past weekend. We'll see how they respond against Sevilla, who now we know Luis Rubiales does not like. Osasuna taking on Barcelona. Barcelona pretty good win. And keep an eye on that 16-year-old man. That I can't have drawing a blank right now on his name, but he's been looking really nice. In the English Premier League, we got Brighton versus Newcastle United and Arsenal versus Manchester United. So because Arsenal and Manchester United, which if you guys don't know, Edward likes Manchester United, I like Arsenal. This is probably a good time to go ahead and explain the rules of the singing bet. So if you guys are new to InsertName FC, we have been doing kind of a kind of like an ongoing singing bet between me, Edward, and Spencer, which originally the way it started was because me, Edward, and Spencer all support our clubs, like our actual clubs, the clubs that we trump over everybody is, for me, Real Madrid, Spencer, Atletico Madrid, and Edward is Barcelona. So because of that, we thought it'd be interesting to start doing bets when they played against each other. And then we decided to open that up to all the teams that we support in the Power Four. We don't really have like a Liga One team. Like I really don't have a Liga One team that I like. So, but we do all have a team that we like in the English Premier League and Serie A and the Bundesliga. And so we decided to tinker a few things because we're not going to sing every single time they face off. So, that was just going to be exhausting. So what we decided to do was we have a table. We have a table for the season. And so if you guys, just so you guys know, so the teams for Spencer is in the English Premier League, Manchester City, in the Serie A, Juventus, La Liga is Atletico Madrid, and in the Bundesliga is Borussia Dortmund. Edward is for the English Premier League, Manchester United, Serie A is Juventus, La Liga is Barcelona, and in the Bundesliga is Borussia Dortmund. And then for me, in the English Premier League, it's Arsenal, Serie A is AC Milan, in La Liga, it's Real Madrid, and in the Bundesliga, it's Bayern Munich. You can go ahead and boo me for that one. But so the way we do it is when those teams match up, the results get put towards a table. So last year, for instance, I ended up winning, but it's kind of an asterisk because of the fact that like Spencer and Edward did not do singing bets at all that the year before, and so for them, we brought up, how about they take a point deduction for every singing bet that they were supposed to sing. Spencer ended up losing 4 points. Edward ended up losing 7 points, and so that's kind of like the asterisk. But I think even with that, I still would have won. So I mean, at least there's that for me. But aside from that as well, so there, besides like winning your matchups, your face-offs in the leagues, we also added a new countdown, and that is for every trophy that's won by your team, that's an extra point added. So obviously, Arsenal winning the FA Community Shield, we'll go ahead and count it. That's a point for me because of that. So along with winning your matches, winning trophies can also help boost up your points. So this is a clean slate. So everyone's just starting at 0. Obviously Arsenal and Manchester City both already won a trophy. I gotta double check and make sure that. So right now everybody's on a clean slate. I'm gonna look real quick to make sure everybody still hasn't won a big trophy. So we're gonna count Super Cups. We're gonna count, obviously the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. Obviously the side tournaments that also the other league, Copa del Rey, Coppa Italia, and the DFB Pokal are also tournaments that we're going to be counting. Also, European competition, Conference League, Europa League, and Champions League as well. So this it's not as so maybe you don't win your matchups, but your team wins trophies. Maybe that can help boost you up in this competition. So that's all really it. At the end of all this, at the end of the season, the loser has to sing for our end of year episode. So our end of year episode obviously happens in December. So in our end of year episode, the loser has to sing in 3 parts of the episode, which is the intro, the outro, obviously, and then before we announce the Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year award, they have to also do a song before we announce the Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year award. So that is all that's going to be accumulated into that singing bet. So, for instance, last season's loser is Spencer. Oh, and also the loser has to sing the songs that are chosen by the winner of the previous season. So obviously, I won previously. So Spencer has to sing 3 songs of my choosing for the end of the year episode. And so he already has them. He's already working on them. So there is that. But yeah, so Arsenal Manchester United will be the first matchup to see who gets a good start to this. So we'll and draws do also counted as a point. So we'll see how that works out. But yes, nonetheless, that's how the singing bets work. So if you guys want to know. But we're going to go ahead and take one more break, and then we'll go ahead and do 3 up, 3 down, the 2023-24 La Liga jerseys. Let me tell you guys about BellyUpSports. BellyUpSports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyupsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. BellyUpSports is the premier, not your average website. And we're back. All right, 3 up, 3 down, and we're going to do the 2023-24 La Liga Kits. So I guess you guys are going to learn a little bit. So me, Edward, and Spencer, we like to use footballkitarchive.com so we can see all the kits. It makes it a lot easier for us to just look through it. And so it's actually pretty, it has like some nifty information, man. Like it obviously tells you like all the kit sponsors that, you know, that a lot of the jersey, the apparel sponsorships that these clubs are rocking with. Like it tells you what clubs are with Adidas, Nike, Puma, all et cetera, et cetera. It goes on. So it also gives you this, like, people get to also do a vote on it. This necessarily is not what me, Edward, and Spencer judge off of, because like we all have our own different opinions on jerseys. But yeah, so this is what so far in the Football Archive what they're going off of. So the worst jersey, according to them, is Villarreal's third kit, and to them the best jersey this year, at least voted on so far this year, with Jesus Christ over 3,000, more than almost 3,500 votes, is Real Madrid's home jersey. But we're gonna get started with the 3 downs, obviously, as we always do, and my first down, my number 3 is going to be, I'm actually going to start things off with Getafe's away kit. Yeah, just it's different, but it's also kind of hard to read. The cross is an interesting thing, and it's kind of like they really did stick with the same template with all 3 of them, except like obviously it's the same color as the jersey, whereas this one, which I mean, obviously it's supposed to be represented by the badge. Obviously you see that little red and yellow cross there. So, but just not a fan of it. It just kind of looks messy to me. My number 2, Granada's third kit. It's just bleh. Weirdly enough, one of the few times where I'm just not a fan of what Adidas did. I've been liking a lot of what Adidas has done so far this season. And then my number 1, this is where things get pretty tricky, but I'm actually going to say this gets really hard for me because of the fact that, like, I do like a lot of, obviously I watch La Liga a lot, so I kind of see a lot of it. But my number 1 down is going to be Real Betis away kit. This is it's yeah, it's just not for me that time. So yeah, Rob. So that's my number 1. All right. So my 3 up. For my number 3, the one that I like is man, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say Barcelona's away kit. I love. I like very simplistic looks for jerseys, and I like this. I really do like this. It's very clean. It's just proper. To me, it's class. So, obviously, I'm a Real Madrid fan, so of course I'm gonna like the white jersey. But yeah, so that's my number 3. My number 2, um, is going to be Let me see. There was a jersey that did pop. Oh yeah. So Real Sociedad's away kit. It's very similar to the third one, but I don't know. I just love that navy blue and like the white badge. I always love a white out badge, and it's kind of cool because it kind of goes with that little that line that just goes right there. So I like that. So really good. And then my number 1, of course, is going to be Real Madrid's home kit. It's what you expect from Real Madrid. It's a home kit. I will say this year is probably not my favorite of years when it comes to Real Madrid jerseys. The black third kit, it's cool, but it's just I kind of like I feel like you kind, even though technically the away kit is a navy kit, or it's supposed to be blue. I feel like those two just look like it's a black. They both look like black jerseys to me. I feel like they could have done something a little different this time around, but they didn't. But yeah, so that is my 3 up right there. So that is 3 up, 3 down. Yeah, so that is the episode, man. I want to give a shout out to the Belly Up Podcast Network. Check them out at BellyUpSports.com. Follow them on Instagram and X at BellyUpMedia and at BellyUpSports. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and X at InsertName FC. Shout out to GolzTV, man. If you guys are either listening to us on wherever you get your podcast from, or maybe you're checking us out through GolzTV. It's really cool. It is the Netflix of soccer content. Like, if you go into, check it out. It's amazing. I really like it. And also, best part right now, it's free. Go ahead and create an account. And if you guys have been looking for soccer content, and you just maybe that YouTube algorithm is not doing it for you, well, that's why you have GolzTV. So go ahead and check them out. Also, give them a follow on Instagram at golz.tv, GOLZ.tv, and on the X at GolzGolz_TV. So you guys can go ahead and check them out and keep yourselves updated with a lot of great content. A lot of original content as well. Yanks of the Round Table, the Wake Up MLS show, and so much more. Other great content creators. Not even along with their original content, but also greater content creators that they have as well. Whether you're trying to learn more about MLS or you're trying to learn about the American perspective in soccer, you guys can go ahead or football. I know some of you guys like football, so go ahead and check it out. Also, Roosevelt Spencer, man. The reason why we have these dope intros and these dope outros is because of Roosevelt Spencer, man. Puts out some great work, and obviously he has to try to make our singing voices sound a little bit better in our singing beds. So go ahead and follow him on Instagram at thatguydope. Once again, at thatguydope, so you can get some really sick beat work done, whether you're trying to get into the music business, or maybe you're trying to create a podcast, or maybe you're trying to get into YouTube. Whatever it is, the best thing you can do is to have an original beat, and that's what Spencer does for you. It's going to be great. I guarantee it. If you guys listen to our intros and outros, then you would definitely know that we love Spencer. So much so that he is the namesake of the Player of the Year award, the Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year award, who has only been won by Robert Lewandowski so far. But that's a great person to be affiliated with Spencer. But yeah, so go ahead and give him a follow and message him if you guys need any beat work done. But that's all I got, man. This is episode 142. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, man, Luis Rubiales, you got to step down, man. That's all you can do at this point. So But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Catch us next week for episode 143, which would be recapping the transfers. Obviously, it's the end. Transfer window will be closed by this week. By the time this episode drops on Friday, the transfer window is already closed for Europe. I think MLS still does their own transfer window, has their own transfer window going on. But so there's that going on. And obviously, so I just got the confirmation. I'm leaving next Thursday to El Salvador to go see family and maybe I think I just really need some time away, and I think that this going to El Salvador, going back to my roots, is gonna be really beneficial to me. So I had an opportunity to like go for it, and I'm taking it. So that's what I'm doing. So I feel like I really need this personally, and that's why I'm more inclined to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take advantage of a chance that I really don't get to do a lot, especially when I do since I started working, and that's to be able to go see home, where my mom called home. So but yeah, so new episode next week. After that, probably have a little bit of a break just because I'll be away for obvious reasons. But thank you so much for listening. Catch us next week for episode 143. Take care, guys.
I don't